from a risk perspective, all I care is the average exchange rate. Had I not done this swap, I would have had to buy these euros at the exchange rate of that day, right? Whatever that day may be. But for my profit and loss, all I care is what is the exchange rate that I pay on average. So, is there a contract that would compensate me if the average exchange rate is below the swap rate? In this case, 113.09. It turns out there is. Such contracts exist. I don't even have to design it myself. They are called Asian style options. Where the payoff is determined by the difference between average exchange rate during the life of the option and the strike price. In general, when you try to manage risk of predictable effects exposure, you either assume that exposure happens uniformly during a given calendar period. And for ease of exposition, I use years, but I could have been using quarters, months, weeks, what have you. Or you use the actual dates of predictable exposure. But in this simple case, suppose S bar is the average of weekly exchange rates on noon London time every Wednesday. Typically, you don't want to do daily because there are calendar issues with the daily stuff. Mondays tend to be different from Fridays, so that creates kind of excess noise. And weekly is much better, and you use a Wednesday because a lot of times Mondays are non-business days, either in US or Europe, and it's very rare that Wednesday is, except when it falls on something like Christmas or New Year's Day. For every week from the time option is created until its expiration, and payoff will be equal to minus option premium versus if S bar T is greater than K. So if the average exchange rate is above the strike price, you're going to only pay the option premium to the option writers on that day. Otherwise, it's K minus S bar T minus option premium. This is payoff with delayed option premium. You know, your bank would actually quote you a number like that. You don't have to pay anything right now. Your bank says, let's wait for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, you're going to pay me that option premium, which means you effectively are going to pay interest on it. So if I'm a bank and I can extend you that much credit, essentially, I would prefer that. Here, option premium is paid on the expiration date. Or you can pay option premium in installments. So every week, suppose it's a 5-year deal, you pay 1/5 times 52 times option premium. Or you can pay it up front. Obviously, in pure dollar numbers, the upfront premium is going to be much lower, but you know, the cash flow effect on you is going to be too much. Okay? There are other designations that you can make. For now, we're going to kind of look at these. I'm going to do the actual kind of pricing of these on Wednesday. But this effectively optimizes your return given your view that average exchange rate will be below K, in this case 1.1309, right? Sometimes you actually have a view that is a little bit more precise. It's one thing to say that, yeah, I believe it's going to be below 11309. Suppose you believe that average exchange rate will be somewhere so let's say K2 is 1.1309. Even though you believe that it's going to be below that swap rate, you don't think it's going to go below 105. So is there something you can do to reduce the cost of this insurance contract essentially? Remember, that put option gives you insurance. Here, the accident is exchange rate going below 113.09. Think about your own car insurance. Who buys it? Do any of you guys have a car insurance contract that's comprehensive with collusion? Is there anybody here who actually has a loan on a car? Man, you guys must have sugar daddies and sugar mommies. Or the actual daddies and actual mommies. If you have a loan, you have to buy a comprehensive insurance contract. Because it's not just a required one. The one that you buy covers the other party in the case of an accident. But suppose you had an accident and it was your fault. Who's going to pay for that? If you don't buy collision and comprehensive, nobody's going to pay for that. And you basically slipped on black ice and hit your car into a tree. You know? My younger son has done that a while ago. That's why I got him a Subaru now. He was using his brother's car at that time. But you know, I was responsible for that, but I had comprehensive coverage in that. But that comprehensive coverage also had a deductible. For example, I typically pick $2,000 deductible, which means any damages up to $2,000 is my problem.